Hello again, and welcome to part 3 of the Flying Predator Battle Report, Dark Eldar vs. Space Marines. Starting on Space Marine turn 3, during Eric's movement phase, he goes ahead and moves one guy of the 2-man tactical squad towards my Raider with 10 guys. He also moves the Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators towards my Raider with 2 guys. I actually expected him to assault my Pathfinders, but they had a grav wave generator, so that would have been a very difficult task for those guys to accomplish. So I think he made the better choice and was less risky in that regard. And he moves the Grey Knight Terminators up. They're moving away from that objective back there because that's only worth 1 victory point. They're moving towards the one that's worth 3 victory points. And the other Grey Knights stay on the one worth 4 in the middle of the board. And there he threw a crack grenade and glanced my Raider, but I saved it with my Jinx save, and as twin-linked Melt-A-Gun, multi-melt, even though he did not move, still does not hit. Now he's shooting at my other Raider with his Grey Knights that are sitting in the middle of the board on that 4-point objective. He shoots some side cannon shots too. He gets a good amount of glances and pens with that, and I'm forced to make my 5-up cover saves, of which I do not. I only make 1, so I lose my 3 hull points, and that's wrecked, so the 5 guys inside get out. And then he shoots at them with a Stormbolter, and since they only have a 5+ armor save, they take lots of casualties. They 3 die, and I'm left with only 2 on the board from that 5-man squad. Now he actually shoots a Stormbolter at my Pathfinders just to see if he can do some damage. I get a 2-up cover save with them in the ruins, so that did not kill any of my Pathfinders. Next up, he's shooting the Grey Knight Terminators at my Raider. That has, I believe, 5 guys in it. Actually, no, sorry, he was shooting at my empty Raider. No, sorry, he shot at my guys that were staying out in the open. They only got a 5-up cover save. Sorry about that. And then he charges in his assault phase. He charges my squad of 10 in the Raider with his Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminator. So I get to overwatch him actually, and with Splinter Racks I get to re-roll for those 6s, so I get plenty of 6s. And then the Splinter Cannon, I actually choose to shoot the heavy mode. Since I'm shooting snapshots anyways, I might as well get the heavy 6. So get plenty of 6s, but only 2 wounds off of that, which law of averages, you know, works out. So but he saves both those armor saves and doesn't lose any Terminators on the charge, and they get 12 inches, so they're easily making it in and getting ready to smash that poor Raider to bits. He's rolling all their attacks separately because Vulcan makes their hammers master crafted, so master crafted only grants you 1 reroll per hammer, so he has to roll them all separately for reroll purposes. But it doesn't really matter. He's hitting on 3s anyways, glancing on 2s, and that Raider explodes because the hammers are AP2 and it's open topped. So he rolled. I actually rolled to wound his Terminators and ended up killing one with the explosion that they caused, which was great news for me, but not so much for Eric. And then he rolls to wound my guys inside the Raider, and I only saved 2 of them, so I lose 3 warriors in total, and that's our makeshift crater there. The game store we were at actually did not have any options for craters, unfortunately. So, and now we are doing the assault with the Archon and the Witch and the Space Marines. He fails 1 save for my Archon's initiative 7 attacks, and then my Witch goes and attacks. Only manages 1 hit and does not manage to wound. So he gets to strike back with his 2 attacks, hits once, and he does wound, so I decided to take it on my Witch. She gets her 4+ invulnerable in close combat. So he fails his leadership and is going to fall back for 11 inches, but I catch him, and They Shall Know No Fear takes over, and we're just stay locked in combat. So now my warriors are taking their checks. And that squad ends up falling back 10 inches, but there's only 2 of them left, so that's not too big of a deal. And now I take my checks on the guys in the crater, and then at the end of turn 3, there's the board overview. It's actually a very close game right now. Eric's got the center objective worth 4, and I have one objective worth 2, and he has another objective worth 2, and we're fighting over that center objective. So one squad of my Cavalites regroup, then I go and cast Psychic Powers and give the Warriors a 4-up invulnerable save and cast Prescience on the Pathfinders. So my Warriors are a little bit safer. They're one of my only scoring units I have left besides the small Warrior squads that are still on the board with just 2 guys left. So I really need these guys to move up to midfield and be able to maybe contest or hopefully even claim that 4-point objective so I can try and steal the game. Because we both slayed each other's Warlords, but Eric did get first blood. So moving on to my shooting phase, my Warriors are shooting, get plenty of wounds on his Terminators, and he fails his 2+ armor saves, so those Thunderhammer Storm Shield Terminators are gone. And now my Prescienced Pathfinders are shooting their sniper rifles into his Grey Knight Terminator squad that is sitting on that center objective, trying to cause a lot of AP1 wounds. Only get 2 AP1 wounds, but with sniper shots on 6s to wound, I get to allocate those as I choose, so I decide to put him on his Psy Cannon, but he makes his Lookout Sir for the one invulnerable that he failed, and then he makes his armor save there. So he only loses 1 guy, and with Lookout Sir, he gets to choose which guy. So my 2 Warriors that regrouped earlier in the turn, they shoot at the Grey Knights in the center of the board as well, and then the 2 Warriors that I jumped in that empty Raider also shoot at the Grey Knight Terminators, which actually I should have just ignored that, but I wanted to shoot the Dark Lance at them. I should have just moved flat out with that Raider to get closer to one of the objectives in backfield, which was worth 3 points, so I could get Line Breaker and hold that 3-point objective, which would have made the game a lot less close if I was able to get back there, because he just didn't have the mobility to get back there. So now my Ravager shoots at his same Grey Knight Terminator squad through the drop pods. We always count the drop pods as being see-through since they're open-topped. But he makes his saves, makes his pinning check, and also makes his leadership check. Now we go on to close combat, and my Archon strikes, causes a couple wounds, and manages to kill 1 more Space Marine. And my Witch also attacks, gets 1 more wound, but just is not able to kill another Space Marine. So he's got 1 attack left with the guy that's still remaining in combat. He hits, wounds, and I take it on my Witch and make her 4-up invulnerable save. So he takes his leadership check, and he ends up being fine. He did lose 1 Grey Knight Terminator in the center for my Ravager shots. He had a 4-up cover save because of the objective. But it's getting to be a really close game, so go ahead and click the link below for part 4.